Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to LaserBeam Live. This is episode number 32. My name is Ikenna for CNC Labs, and you know the drill. Whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. We are back in my home, LaserBeam Live. Let's go. I'm very excited. Let's check out the chat. Jack in the shop, how you doing? Laser Demon. Bucky's Customs, Dana, how you doing? Doug, the party can start. We are ready. Dawn, oh, first time attending. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you have a good time. You learn a little something. Dieter, how you doing? Hey, hey, hey. Marty, how you doing? Nicholas, good to see you. Jim, yes, I'm in the house. I'm nice and cozy. You know, I got my winter hat. It's cold here, okay? We had our first little brush of real Canadian winter this year. I did not like it. I don't like winter. But the one positive about winter is that you get to wear all your cozy clothing. You get to just sit in the house and be cozy and hope that you get snowed in so you don't have to leave your house. That's the one benefit, okay? But let's start. What are we doing today? First of all, I just gotta talk because I am live today. Last week, it felt a bit weird. Because after a little over a year, it was the first time where my schedule pretty much made it so that I couldn't actually be live. I had to pre-record it, and then I was driving to my hotel in Chicago, getting ready for the LaserBeam, the LightBurn convention, and I had to stop in a McDonald's so that I could be in the chat with you. So I at least had a little bit of that live feeling with horrible internet. But we made it happen. But I am back live. Okay, you can test me. Okay, you can even test my reaction. I am live. We would never lie to you like that. Thank you for joining me. So last week or 2 weeks ago, I was in city outside of Chicago for the LightBurn convention. It was an awesome time. There was so many creators just like you guys, very similar to the Long Mill CNC Labs community, where a bunch of makers just showed up to learn, to network, to talk, and just talk laser talk, right? And I got to talk to the CEO of LightBurn. He's a great guy. His team and his engineers and the whole team there seems great. It was a great event. It was a good time. I got to talk to them about some cool stuff. One thing that they're going to be releasing very soon is a CNC software. Yes, LightBurn is going to be making a CNC software. Right now it's called MillMage. It's in beta. They just sent us the beta so that we can start testing it with the long mill. So any of you guys who want to check out a new software, if you love using LightBurn, you know, like me, I get a little bit frustrating when I'm trying to make CNC code. But LightBurn is always a very easy experience. So if they can transfer that to LightBurn, you might even see me do some more router jobs with the laser included, using MillMage and LightBurn, kind of using both softwares, because I love a software that's easy. That's why I love the laser. That's why I love LightBurn. That's why we kind of push that LightBurn so hard. It's because I just can't think of a better software to make laser code. So if they can accomplish what they accomplished with LightBurn, it'll be a very, very, very exciting time. So yeah, it was a great time. I got some test material. I actually got some opaque green acrylic, which we've actually never engraved any type of acrylic other than opaque black acrylic. So I'm very excited to try a new color. I'm going to be making a little coaster. It's 1/8 inch, so we're just going to be cutting a little circle out. It's a little over 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. We'll be using LightBurn, doing some passes, doing some cutting. How are you guys doing in the chat? You guys have said hello to me. You guys have said hello to each other. Are we all feeling good today? If it's your first time watching, this is going to be a good kind of starter project for you guys. And before we jump into that, I'm just going to talk about the super longboard. So guys, our CTO Chris has been working on the super longboard. It's been a very long process, but we are getting very, very, very close, and we are just hammering out little bugs here or there. And so check out our YouTube channel. Watch the update. Chris just did an impromptu update. It's not overly edited. It's very just him talking about the project. So if you need an update on the super longboard, check that out. I'm currently testing the laser with it, and we're just working out the last couple bugs and making sure that All of our add-ons are going to work just as they did with the regular longboard, but you get all the benefits of the higher spec out super longboard and no hiccups. So that's my goal here, to make sure that any person who has a laser plugs it into the super longboard, there's no hiccups, so that they can enjoy all the benefits of the super longboard, which has been a little bit stressful, but that's just the nature of product development. It's going to be a little bit stressful. There's always going to be small things that you have to figure out. So who's ready to get started? Who's ready to make a little coaster out of some 1/8 thick opaque green acrylic? Remember, you cannot engrave transparent acrylic or cut transparent acrylic. It's only going to be opaque. And guys, I get a lot of emails. How you doing, Louis? How's my sorry, Louis is one of our marketing team, very important member of our marketing team. He makes things look amazing on camera, and he also helps frame and everything, make sure I look good on the live stream. And he gave me some advice. He said, make sure you have a backlight to make sure that I am separated from the background, right? And to give myself a little bit less headroom. So I'm trying out his tips. We don't want too much headroom like one of the last streams. And I have some lighting pointing down at me that should be separating me from the back room. Okay, enough of the cinematography and all that fun stuff. Louis, thanks for joining. Thanks for the tips. So let's get right into it. So let's open up LightBurn. This is going to be a classic. So as you can see, I have these 100mm circles framed with these designs. They're PNGs. We're going to pick one. First, I'm going to erase all of this, and we're going to start from scratch. I just wanted to show you what we're looking at the end product, but I wanted to show you guys some tips. If you guys want to use shapes in order to cut out like a design, that this will be. Oh, thank you, Bill. I appreciate you. You're the best. So I kind of want to start from scratch so I can show you guys the process. So if you guys ever wanted to do something similar, you guys kind of know the workflow from the beginning to end. So I figured, why not use some art that I love? So I went on Google. I'm not going to show you this part because this part should be very easy for you guys. I went on Google and I downloaded some PNGs of some art I really like. I think his name is Jean-Michel Basquiat. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. I'm not French. I almost failed French class, so don't blame me. But Basquiat, call him Mr. B, Big Boss. Okay, and I love his art. It's very avant-garde. It's very I don't even know the words. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an art connoisseur. I just see something, I like it, I want to engrave it. That's pretty much probably most of you guys. You see something, you like it, you want to engrave it. So I just went to Google, typed in Basquiat, searched around for a couple minutes, found some really cool art pieces that I really liked, downloaded them. I got them as PNGs. Some were web.ps, and I had to convert them using like an online converter. I just Googled online converter. Yeah, Basquiat. Yes, Jean-Michel Basquiat. I apologize for my fake French accent. I'm just gonna apologize. But as you can see, I got the JPEG. Some are in JPEG, some are in PNGs, and we're just going to import, right? And we're gonna shrink it down because it's a little bit big, and we know that our material is 100mm by 100mm. So just to be safe, I'm just gonna make the circle 95mm by 95. So we have a little bit of room just in case this is not squared. We don't wanna kind of miss out on cutting out the circle. So I'm shrinking this, and we're gonna pick the design together, which one we think looks best. So I'm just gonna pop open a couple of them. So again, import. This time I'm gonna choose, I forgot which one I chose, so I'm just gonna go to the bottom, grab that. Okay, so we got number 2. We're gonna shrink that down. And we're gonna pick another one. Let's grab this one. And we have number 3. Oh, look, it's me. It's like me and my dog. Can you guys see my dog? Zeus, are you alive? Are you there? Okay, he's probably taking a nap. Okay, so we got 3 images. I'm gonna zoom in a second so you guys can see them. And we want to make sure that all 3 images are larger in both dimensions than the circle that we're going to be creating. So 95 by 95. So we need to make sure that these are larger than 95 by 95. And we can make it a little bit larger just so when we're moving the circle around, we have some wiggle room on what part of the design we want to actually be. in the circle. So I'm just going to increase the size of these. Boom, boom, boom. And then we can create a circle. So off here, off to the side here, you'll see the circle icon. I'm just going to click that. I'm going to create a circle. I'm never going to be able to get it perfect. So I'm going to unlock the dimensions up here, up top. And then I'm just going to type in 95 by 95. And now we got a perfect circle. And now I can drag it. Oh, got another circle. I'm actually going to create 3 circles, so might as well do that now. So 95 by 95. Boom. So if this is locked and you change one dimension, the other one is going to auto stretch and it's going to keep the ratio of dimensions. So you want to unlock it when you want to just freestyle both. But let's say if you wanted to keep the original ratio of an image, I wouldn't want to unlock. I would just change one dimension and let the ratio multiply to that one dimensional change. I don't want to change the way the image looks by shrinking it or making it look weird. So that's the time where you want to use the lock function here. And there's times like shapes or when you want to change you want to distort things in different axes, then you would want to keep it unlocked. So the circle, I unlocked it, 95, 95, boom, perfect circle. So let's say I don't want my laser to engrave all the other stuff on the side, right? I want to keep it just in the middle or just in the circle, and I want to get rid of everything else around it because I don't want to engrave that. So what am I going to do? I am going to drag the circle above my material, roughly where I want. So probably want these, like, both of these heads, because I think that looks cool. And then, so my circle is selected right now. I'm going to zoom in. You can see my circle is selected right now. And then I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to select the image. Okay. And then I am going to right click and I'm going to apply mask to image. When I do that, it sees the geometry of the circle. It knows that I want everything in the circle and don't want anything outside the circle, right? And now both the circle and the image are selected, but if I just select the circle, so if I click out and just select the circle is free moving. So I can move it outside if I want half and half of one picture, half another. I can move it this way, and I can frame it properly to get what I want, right? And then if I need to move both, right? If I like this positioning, but I want to move this down to this corner, then all I do is move, like select both and then drag before I move. Because if I just select the circle and I move it, it's going to move just like I showed you before. So that's option one. 2 guys chilling. I love his art. It's very weird, and that's what I like about it. So this is going to be number 2. We're going to do it again. So I'm dragging the circle over roughly where I want the image. Dana, don't we all? Don't we all? I have my circle selected. I'm going to zoom in for you guys. I'm going to select my image. I'm going to right click and I'm going to click apply to mask. And then I can just select my circle and I can fine tune which part. So the theme of this is faces and people. So I want to get the face in here. So I kind of want a little bit of the distorted teeth. I want the eyes. I feel like that would be super cool. A little bit weird, but also super cool. So you see I tried to drag it, but I only had my image selected. So now I'm moving the framing. So now I have to reframe it, hold shift, and make sure my circle is also selected. And then when I drag it, it moves as one. So you can group it so you don't have to do all that. So when I group it, now I can just select it and move it. I don't have to worry about selecting both. And I'm just going to line it up down here, and then we'll make our choice at the end. I will let you guys vote on which one we actually engrave, because I love all 3. So I don't actually care, but I'll let you guys make the decision. So again, we're going to do it one last time. We're going to drag our circle. I want a little bit of this guy and his dog, you know. So I'm actually going to shrink the image. And again, see, so when I'm shrinking the image, so I'm actually going to go back so I can show you guys. So when I'm shrinking the image, I actually do want to lock this thing up here, right? I do want to click the lock icon because I don't want to distort it and freestyle move the image, and now it all looks all weird and doesn't look like how the art is supposed to look. Or let's say you were doing an image You don't want to distort people in an image or a landscape. So now I'm going to move it so I can get as much of the image in the circle as possible. So I want a little bit of the guy plus his dog. And by shrinking it just so it's only a little bit bigger than the size of the circle, I can get most of the image in it, or most of the detail that I want. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then what are we doing again? I have my circle selected. I'm going to select my image. I'm going to select my circle, then hold shift and select my image. Then I'm going to apply mask to image. And then I'm going to group both of them so that I can move it without shifting it. So if I wanted to change the orientation of the circle, I would have to ungroup. So right click, ungroup. Then I could just select the circle and change what the mask, what is going to be seen with the mask. The circle is the mask, and now I can show what I want to be seen. But once I'm happy with my selection, again, I'm going to select the circle, hold shift, select the image, and group. So now it moves as one. I don't have to worry about messing up my framing. And again, I'm going to line it up right here. And then I'm going to let you guys decide. So this one, the one right above my head, is going to be 1. So this one is 1. This one is 1. This one is 2. And that one over there is 3. So guys, please, in the chat, let me know which one you like most. 3. Okay, we got 2 for 3. Okay, we got 3 for 3. Okay, we got 1 for 2. Dominic, thanks for joining. 3, 2, 2. Okay, Puppy, 3. Okay, 2. We got a couple 2 stragglers. Oh, I think 3 is taking the lead. Oh, 2 comes in. Hey, Dana, hey, you're not allowed to do that. But he is right. I think 3 wins. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 votes for 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4 votes for 2. So 3 wins. We are doing 3. Oh, and a last minute vote from Jim. Thanks for voting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Dieter says 3. Okay, it's a 3. Okay. Nail in the coffin. You guys got it. Your wish is my command. Your wish is my command. There's no accounting for taste. So I'm going to get rid of these 2 that we created, and this one is the one. So the man and his dog. So we're just going to line that up and snap our, as you can see, like these 2 things, like we essentially want to line these things up. But make sure that we're not going over, because I don't mind going not in the grid, but I don't want to be outside the grid. So it does want to snap there. So we'll let it snap there. And that should be 0, 0. So that aligns our circle with 0, 0. So if I was snapping it to the outside here, then it wouldn't actually be 0, 0. There'd be an offset with my image in the corner. Okay. So we are good here. I'm going to double check my settings. So my image is going to be 100%, 100 speed. No, don't want that. So we are going to do just like clapping his hands too, Jack, like 3, 3, 3. So for speed, we want to go regular engraving, which is 25. For power, what do I want to do for power? We could go 100, but I honestly don't think we need to go 100, because usually with the acrylic, there's like a little white, there's like a white that causes the contrast. So it ends up being the color of your acrylic with white being the contrast. At least that's what it is for the black acrylic. It might be different for this, but I don't think we need to go 100% power. And honestly, acrylic smoke smells horribly. So the less smoke I create, the better. So I'll probably just go with 80% max power. I'm going to turn off the air assist. No, Marty, because it's snapped to 0, 0, I don't have to offset. I just know that only because it snapped, I feel confident in going to 0, 0. So usually without the mask behind it, I would actually just click on the circle and go 0, 0 in the X position, the Y position in the top corner, and then it would automatically go to 0, 0. But because I have that green, I was able to just snap it to the red. Red is 0, 0, and it auto snapped. So I got close, and then it just like snapped it. So I'm pretty sure that it is 0, 0, which is like perfectly on the line, which is kind of like the most accurate way to do it. You don't really need to offset, but yeah, just try things out, see what works best for you. So we got speed. We only need one pass because it's an engraving. And for cutting, because we do want to cut this out, we have 4 passes at 2.2 millimeters per second. And yep, and then Z step down, we don't need 1 inch, so it's 1/8 inch. So it's about 3 millimeters. So 4 passes, we'll put 0.75 millimeters per pass. So it'll be about, or actually it'll be a little bit over 3 millimeters because 1/8 I believe is a little bit bigger than 3 millimeters. So we'll put 0.8 so that on each pass, by the time it gets to the bottom, it's focusing on the very bottom and not out of focus for cutting the bottom layers. So 0.8, 4 passes, that should be good. 2.2 millimeters per second, 100% power. And then what I usually do is I put my, first I'm going to turn off the air assist function because we don't need it. We have manual air assist, as you can see, or you will be seeing. But my air assist is mounted and it's working, but it's manual. You plug it into the driver, it's on. You unplug it from the driver, it's off. So I actually always put my cut files above my engraving files because if it doesn't cut all the way through, I can just restart the job and get an extra pass without moving it. And it's going to be like, I'm just visually seeing or visually checking if it cut all the way through. But, I think I'm going to get more accurate estimation in time if I let it do the engraving first. So I don't know what I want to do here. I could just go over. Yeah, I do kind of want to let it do the engraving first because that's going to be the longest piece. And every time we do something here, I'm always like, oh my God, it's going to take longer than I thought. And today's going to be no different. I'm going to do this. It's going to say an hour and a half. And I'm going to be like, oh my God, this is taking longer than I thought, which is why we're making a CO2 laser. Because if you love laser jobs and you don't want to wait too long, then our CO2 laser will be going 10 times faster than this long mill can go and 10 times more power, which means you can push it even faster. And yeah, but okay. Besides the point. Don't worry, you guys will be getting an announcement, an official announcement that we're working on the laser very soon. But even today, me and myself and Daniel, Daniel created the Vortex and works on the long mill, and he's one of our best engineers in-house, and he was showing me some very cool designs. We have officially started the mechanical design, and my goal is to have a working prototype by the end of the month. So it's very exciting. We're working on the branding. I'll be working with, you see Louis in the chat, marketing team. I'll be working with him to help shoot and book and plan our announcement video so that we can give you something fun and cool to let you guys know that we are very excited about this new product. So I'm just gonna go 5 passes and leave it at the bottom because I honestly don't want all that smoke sitting or waiting to be exhausted while it's doing the engraving. So I'd rather do that part last, honestly. Maybe my logic doesn't make sense, but it's what I'm feeling right now. So I'm going to leave the cutting last, but I just added an extra pass. So if I don't feel like I need the 5th pass, I'll just stop it at the 4th pass and take it out. But if I feel like I need it, then I'll let it run the 5th pass. Guys, again, this 7-watt laser is not really a cutting machine, right? It's not the best cutter. I say 1/8 is fine. 1/8 is kind of chill. 4 passes, 3 passes, 5 passes, depending on your speed and the material. It's like more fun. Thank you, Dana. I do see more at home, right? Because sometimes, when you're at work, and especially at work in the evening, it does add a little bit more of like a draw, like, oh, even after this, I still have to pack up and go home. It's like, no, here, my long mill sits right here. I'm at my house. I'm relaxing. I know my dog is safe, and I know my dog is chilling. I don't have to worry about him. I just ate dinner before I jumped on stream. It's much easier, and I'm very glad. And also, I just love having the machine in my house. It is like the focal point. You walk in and you see this giant enclosure just sitting on like this metal rack. I actually quite love it. Marty, the CO2 laser is going to be a standalone machine. There's no point yeah, there's no point of putting a CO2 laser on the long mill, because half of the benefit of having a CO2 laser is having the extra speed. And with the long mill and the way it's designed, it's not made for speed. It's made for a little bit of speed, but a lot of rigidity, you know, to deal with the deflection of the router and all the forces that the router produces when it's cutting into material. A laser head doesn't need to touch the material, so you can run it as fast as possible. So we'd be doing the machine a disservice by adding a CO2 laser to this, rather than building a whole new linear system. It'll be a very similar linear system, but the way it's built will be purpose built, right? It would be like adding a 3D printer extruder head to our long mill. You could do it. It would just be extremely slow. And one benefit about 3D printers is that they can move very, very, very fast, and they can get jobs done very, very quickly. Most people's complaints are that too much power. Yeah, see, even 300 millimeters per second, like Jack CO2, is like 5 times faster than the long mill can move, right? Like 4 or 5 times faster. 400 would be like 5, 6 times faster than the long mill can move. And we're aiming for 600 millimeters per second, which would be like almost 9 times faster, 10 times faster than the long mill can move. So it really makes no sense. If I wanted to keep with the long mill design and keep adding laser power, we could have went with like a 5, 6, 7 diode system and just stack diodes, because that's what a lot of the companies are doing, the diode laser companies are doing right now, is that they're just stacking diodes. I've seen people who have like 8 diodes, 6 diodes, companies that are producing 6, 5, 6, 4 diodes to get 20 watts, 30 watts, 40 watts. And to me, I say we just leapfrog that. We create a whole new machine, and then you don't even have to take up your long mill to run your laser jobs. Not only do you get the extra speed, the extra power at a very reasonable price compared to all the other lasers in the market, but you also get to free up your long mill when you want to do laser jobs. But again, if you're a majority router user and you only use the laser to really engrave and do these odd things, then laser is a great add-on for the long mill. But if you're like, hey, I love doing laser stuff, but I just want more power, more speed, and I'm actually falling in love with doing laser stuff, I just wish I could do more, then that's the CO2 laser is going to be right up your alley. It's going to be perfect. So yeah, sorry I went on a little bit of a rant, but I'm very passionate about the CO2 laser, and that's going to be dope. I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and save the G code. And we will save it as boss V1. And I'll make sure to save it as a .nz, because earlier I was saving things as a .text just to check the code, and I don't want it to auto-save as a .text. Usually it'll auto-save whatever your last file saved as, so just something to remember. So we have boss V1. Open that up, zoom out, see we're all zeroed. Very nice. Jack, actually a very interesting question. Of course, our resident laser demon Jack in the shop would be asking these types of questions. We're going to test both. I actually quite like the idea of having a whole clip-on CO2 laser thing to the X gantry, right? And then we can kind of or we can align our lasers in-house, because it can be a whole enclosure where you have mirror 1, mirror 2, oh, let me get in camera. You have mirror 1 doing the 45-degree bounce, and then you have mirror 2 doing the 45-degree bounce, and both can be aligned in-house if we make an enclosure for the tube to the mirror, and then it just clips right on, right? It'll make shipping a little bit nicer. We can kind of design it to keep the tube safe, but we're going to test both, because whatever keeps the tube safer and the longevity of the tube is what we'll do. I don't see us having any issues. A lot of other laser companies like Glowforge and I think Gweek and the Omtech Polar, like I'm pretty sure they ride on the gantries as well, so I don't think we'll have any issues, but we'll test both. So guys, some of you guys ask, oh, first I'm just going to double check my firmware, because I always like to double check my firmware. I don't like random things happening and being like, oh no, I forgot, I changed it to do this. So I'm all good. $30, 255, which should match your S value max in LightBurn. $31 equals 0, and laser power enabled. Laser mode is enabled, all fun stuff. So I'll show you guys I'll enable my webcam here. So guys, as you can see, I have a little piece of wood there, and it's a 1/4 inch piece of wood. So a lot of you guys, or some of you guys ask me questions in tickets, and you say, hey, like I keep marking up my wood while I'm trying to focus it. It's like I always have a piece of scrap material and always know the thickness of the material, because then you can do this. Yeah, you can. So then you can focus it, which I've already done on this scrap piece of 1/4 inch material, and then I can just slide this in place, know that it's focused, and lower the Z by the difference of material. So this is 1/4 inch, or this is 1/8 inch. That's 1/4 inch. So it's going to be about a 3 mm change. So all I did was lower the Z 3 mm in the Z axis, and then zero everything again. So it starts from the proper height, and then I'm good to go. So I don't have to mark up this acrylic in order to focus it on this acrylic, right? So keep that in mind. Little focusing tip. I'm going to keep reminding you because I always get the question from new laser users, so I'll keep saying it. Marty says, I purchased my 7-watt laser for the exact same reason. I purchased my long mill MK2 or MK1 to experiment with the technology and add an extra dimension. Exactly. It's all just little tools that you use to experiment and explore your creativity in the dimension that you want to. So, like a lot of us are woodworkers. I love working with wood. I love working with acrylic. But I just so happen to fall in love with the laser aspect of things. Some people fall in love with the router aspect of things. Some people fall in love with 3D printing, and they have a CNC as like an offshoot, like a small thing that they only use for certain things, to get a project done, right? Some people fall in love with the different aspects of the CNC industry and what they make and how they create, and I love it all. I just know that my number one love, my one true love, is the laser. Yeah, and then you have Jack, who just loves it all. He probably has the best, all the 3D printers, all the fiber lasers, the CO2 lasers. He's got everything. So I'm just gonna pop open the enclosure, swap out the wood for this acrylic, zero everything, and then start our job. So bear with me for 1 second. All right, just gotta move my Y. And I'm just gonna shine it at 1% just to make sure that I'm aligned. Start of my material. I'm just gonna turn it off. And I was a little bit on the edge, so I'm just gonna move this to 1 mm in G sender. And then do a little 1, a little 2, shine it, and then turn it off. Okay, so I am ready to go. I'm good to go. So I'm gonna zero everything. I'm focusing the Z. And I'm kind of ready to go. Let's get this started. I'll pop up G sender so you guys can see what I'm doing. And okay, are you guys ready for the estimation? Because we usually end the stream around 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we have about 30 minutes. And let's see. Every time I press start, I look at the estimation and I'm like, oh, this job is going to take longer than I thought. So let's see if it happens today. So let's start it up. And let's see. Yep, 3 hours. Marty asks, is there ever a time where you want to clamp down the material that you're engraving? Oh, guys, I messed up. Guys, you got to see me live mess up. It's the zero is at the bottom corner, and I zeroed it at the top corner. So yeah, I have to change my zero. So I'm just gonna return to 0 because my X was fine. I just have to change my Y and start at the bottom of my material, not the top. So sorry guys. Yeah, guys, I make mistakes. I feel like I make at least one good mistake every live stream, so it's nothing new. Nothing new. Okay, so now I am at the right place. I can zero everything. And I can start the job again. Okay, so who's asking a question? Yeah, so Jack in the Shop prints his CNC clamps with the same printer the long mill's printed in. So some are on the Ender 3, some are on the some are on the what is it called? Our Prushas, and we actually recently got a bamboo printer in, and I really like the bamboo. They're a cool company. Marty asked, Ikenna, is there ever a time when you should clamp down the material? Sorry, my dog is barking at the CNC because he doesn't like the noises that it makes. Zeus, it's okay. It's okay. It's just a CNC machine. It won't hurt you. Forgive my dog. It's making small noises that he doesn't like. I don't think you guys have ever met my dog. His name is Zeus. Zeus, look at the camera. Huh? Look at the camera. Over here, Zeus. Say hi to the people. Sorry, let me change the camera view so you guys can see him. Hey, Zeus, look at the people. Oh, there we go. This is Zeus. He's a half pug, half beagle. Geez, and here I thought sorry, I need my glasses to read this from this far away. 1 second. Yeah, I've never heard of a beagle pug mix either, but he's pretty cool. I'll keep him. Error to demonstrate how to dynamically change your axes. Sorry, I think I was asking. Yes, sorry. Marty, I've tried to answer your question like 3 times, but I'm getting distracted. So Marty asked, is there ever a time to clamp down your material when using the laser? The only time I ever found that I needed to clamp down my material when using the laser is when I'm trying to engrave leather. So leather likes to shrink when heat is applied to it. So every time I engrave leather, there's a little bit of shrink unless I run it really, really fast and I do multiple passes, right? That's the only time I can get it not to shrink. So when I do leather, because as your leather shrinks, it will crinkle up and move it up, and it will change your Z focus because it gets closer and closer to your laser and puts your laser out of focus and can also start a fire. One thing to note, that leather smells pretty bad. It's almost as bad as acrylic when engraving and cutting it. So yeah. So Don says, I just started seriously using the laser. It's using for now 3 specific size tiles. I took some 1/4 inch material and pocketed out their shape, 1/8 deep so that they don't move, always in the same spot. That's a great idea, Don. So he's engraved some material, pocketed out a 1/4 inch, or it's 1/4 inch material, but he's pocketed out 1/8 inch, and now he can put his material in the pocket and engrave in the same spot over and over and over again. So Scott did something similar when he was making the coasters. So again, his material was a little bit too thick, or it would have taken too much time to cut with the laser. So he ended up just cutting it with the router and then using this like pocket system. So you can always create like jigs and pocket systems so that you can repeat jobs and you can put your new material inside the little pocket so that you always start at the same place and you can do repetitive work. Yes, Don, it's great for repetitive work, right? We don't have to worry about zeroing things. So even when I was doing a circle coaster, like the material I had was a circle, I just took a piece of paper, I taped it down to my my workbench, or my here, I'll show you guys. I taped it down to the bed, the actual work area of the long mill, and I just cut out a circle out of the paper, the exact size of my material, and then as soon as the circle was cut, I just zeroed everything and put my actual circle coaster material right in the cutout of the circle, so I knew that it was perfectly aligned with the job, and then I ran my engraving and it was perfectly aligned. Oh, he's yawning. Are you tired, buddy? You a little bit tired? Yeah? That's okay. That's a good boy. Yeah, I always use the G2 lens, guys. I know we talk about the other lenses. But yeah, I always use the G2 lens. Like if I wanted to be so like on point, I would actually engrave this with the 3 element lens, and then I would swap out the G2 to actually do the cutting, because the G2 is going to be the most powerful. The 3 element is going to have the most detail, but sometimes because the 3 element pin is so small, it's so much smaller than the G2, even though you're getting less power, sometimes it's easier to cut with the 3 element because the pin and the focus size is so much smaller than the G2. So I've had experiences with certain material, like certain wood, certain projects, certain environments, where I actually end up cutting with the 3 element, and it does a better job at cutting than the G2, even though it's getting much less power through the lens. It's getting like 70% power versus like 95% power on the G2 through the lens. But because because the pin and the focus point is so much smaller than the G2, it actually engraves a lot better. So just something to think about, something to experiment with. But I always use the G2 because it's like the perfect middle ground lens. It engraves fine, or it engraves very good, but it also cuts really well because of the power. So I kind of use it as like my all-in-one. That's why we include it stock with every laser. Zeus is now mesmerized by the laser. He was barking at it, but now he can't stop staring at it. Guys, if you have pets in your house and you're using the laser, make sure that you keep them out. Unless you have an enclosure that fully protects the laser light, or you get them the same laser glasses, but you tape it to their head, because just like your eyesight is vulnerable to the laser light, your pet's eyesight is also vulnerable to the laser light. Any organic being is going to be vulnerable to the laser light. Yeah, Don, use multiple springs. Yeah, guys, that is a pain in the ass. That's just like one of the bad things about it. The G7 and the G8, they're a good mix between the 3 elements. So everything I said about the G2 and the benefits of the G2 and the benefits of the 3 element, the G7 and the G8 are kind of the middle ground between those two lenses. So if you want to use them, sometimes it is annoying because they do focus on like the last thread. What you can do is you have a range on your focus finder. It's an L. The longer side is the top of the range where it will focus, and the smaller side is the bottom of the range it'll focus. Wherever you're focusing it, try different heights to see which one causes you to, so you can try the lowest end and see if it causes you to tighten it and get an extra thread to focus, or it might be the longer end that causes you to tighten it, or yeah, to get an extra thread on, and then use multiple springs. So you can stack the springs on top of each other, or you can intermix the springs to get like a firmer push, because you want that spring pressure to keep the thread from twisting. So especially if you're using something like fast white speed. Yeah, so just double check the smaller end and see if it causes you to need to tighten it. So if you're using the longer end, double check the smaller height on your focus finder, because both sides are the range, the actual active range in which your lens will focus. Anywhere in between, it just depends on how you're twisting it and where it is on the threads on where it'll focus. So definitely try that out. Yeah, so try that out to see where it'll focus. And then also stack your springs, okay? So if you're having trouble, or you're scared that there's not enough there's not enough friction to keep your lens in there with the G7 and the G8, stack your springs either horizontally or vertically, and make sure that when you twist that 1 or 2 threads that it needs to thread on, you're feeling a little bit of that pressure of the springs, and that pressure will hold it and make sure that it doesn't twist out or twist in and become unfocused or fall out in the middle of your job. So yeah, that's why we did include the springs, because it is a little bit precarious with the G7 and G8. But that's also why I really only use the 3 element and the G2. But the G7s and the G8s are really nice. It's just make sure you're using the springs. And also, if you're using like fast white space, if you're using the tool fast white space, a few streams ago we used it and we ended up saving like 30-40% time. But using fast white space or using high speeds on the long mill with your laser might cause the lens to become unfocused during your job. So that's when you want to use the springs. So if you're noticing parts of your job are focused and then by the end it's a little bit out of focus, then that's when you want to be using your springs. Okay? Hey buddy, how you doing? Zeus, how's the stream going? Are you enjoying it? Yeah, if you want it to be easy, like those are the easier ones to use. But there is benefit if you're doing a crossover, right? I talked about like how in a perfect world I would engrave with the 3 element. Oh, he's a sleepy boy. I told you in a perfect world I would engrave with the 3 element and I would cut with the G2. Well, in a perfect world I would just use a G7 or G8 because they're the perfect middle ground between having that smaller beam than the G2, but also having more power output and more power efficiency. Yeah, so just go to the I don't know, like the G3 from what company? I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but it is 3 pieces of glass. They call it the 3 element because it's like 3 lenses in one, right? So there's multiple lenses in it. I'm not sure if it's the G3. We only sell the G2, the 3 element, the G7, and the G8. So if you're referring to like a different one of our lenses, then I'm not sure. Maybe you got the typing or maybe you got the name wrong. But if you're referring to a different company's lens, then I'm not sure if it's the same. It could be. These are pretty standard laser lenses, so they're not crazy. They could be pretty standard. Everybody's going to have this different names, but a lot of companies use the same name. Alan asked, is there anywhere in the docs that talks about the focus measure LPs? Not sure if I missed it. Way back when I first got mine. Oh, so Don calls it the G3. So that's pretty. That actually keeps things simple. Maybe it would have been nicer for us to. I'll show you where all that information is on our resources. So, okay. Let me see how I can do this. Okay, there we go. So you guys should be able to see this. Oh, sorry, I just opened a program. Let's exit out of that. Okay, so on this laser resources, we're going to go to the basics. So lenses. So guys, this is the description of the lenses, and this is actually the focus range. So this is the one size of your focus finder here. So the longer side is going to be the longer measurement here, and then the shorter side is going to be the other side of your focus range, and then you can go anywhere in between. So if you get it to your bottom, you can go anywhere in between, or if you get to the top, you can go anywhere between downwards. Then same thing for all these. So if you want just like the actual measurement of where you can focus, here's the actual measurement. So again, that's LaserBeam resources, then the basics, then lenses. This is the description of the 3 lenses. Right? General description of what they're made for. And then if we go to not software, but assembly, we can go to installing the lens and finding. So as you can see, this is how you would focus, but you can also just rotate these L's like 90 degrees to find the bottom of the range. So the longer side is going to be this top of the range. So for the G2, that would be 33, and then the short side is going to be about 28 millimeters, and so you can go anywhere in between those 2 measurements. So maybe we can make this clearer and we can show images of us rotating the L so that you guys. Dana asked a question, but the heart sign is covering it. No, the 3 element, Dana, the 3 element is the best for engraving. Or unless you're talking to Jack. I'm not sure. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Slate coaster engraved at 3,500 millimeters per second. Yeah, Dana, the 3 element is best for engraving. It's going to have the smallest, has the lowest efficiency, but it has the smallest focus beam size. So you can, I would encourage you guys to actually play with the 3 element and see if you guys can cut with it. Because sometimes, like I said, some projects, some materials, I actually have a better time cutting with the 3 element, even though it's less powerful. It's just a smaller beam and it can kind of cut through the material a little bit easier. So we still have about 40 minutes left in our code here, which is fine. I don't mind staying on until this thing is done. We have about 10 minutes till 9, which is usually when we end the stream, but we have about 40 minutes. Marty, I don't use the Vectric module, so I don't use the Vectric laser module, and we don't sell it. So I'm sure people use it, and if I was gonna do a long mill router job and a laser job, I might use it, right? Because then I can design both sets of code in one software. But I just love LightBurn. Yeah, I just love LightBurn. It's such an easy software to design, and although like they have issues, that like they have a great forum, they have great customer service, and it's just so easy. So it might be a small kind of hurdle to learn LightBurn, but it'll be the smallest hurdle to learn LightBurn because LightBurn is such an easy software, right? And I'm sure as long as you have like outlines and SVGs and vectors of your CNC job, you'll be able to import that into LightBurn, and you can even like align things, right? So you can zero things out in GSender after you use the router, and then design using your outlines from your router code, and then design your laser code and just run it right after your router code, right? Just use the offsets. Yeah, so Bill's saying he used to, or he had the Vectric module, but then quit using it for LightBurn. Yeah, LightBurn's just so easy. Just like I don't think I'm gonna like MillMage. Yeah, so some people might not like it. I'm very curious to see because I just don't like most CNC router softwares in general. Yeah, so I'm just hoping that because I like LightBurn, that I might end up liking MillMage, and that could get me doing more router jobs. Because yeah, software is just such. I'm just like you, like the customer. Like software, being able to use the software and comfortably use the software and enjoy using the software is such a huge part of like the enjoyment and willingness to do certain projects and all that stuff. So honestly, I'm hoping I like it, and we got the beta, so I'm gonna start using it. Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, honestly, like guys, you know us. We're very agnostic with softwares. You can use, for all I care, you can use Vectric laser module. You can even use LaserWeb, like if you want. If that's the software of your choice, you can use LaserWeb, and you can send me a ticket and ask for help. I just know that I'm not going to be that helpful to you other than like general research and like, I'll search the forums, I'll spend some time searching forums trying to find you an answer. I just know I'm not going to be as big of a help to you guys as I will be with LightBurn, and I just love it, so I don't mind like shilling for it and kind of pushing it. Yes, thank you, Bill. Let's give Zeus and Ikenna a like. Like the stream, comment, share with your friends if they like CNCs and lasers or cute dogs. Share the stream with them. Thank you very much for the reminder, Bill. Yeah, LightBurn is the best software. Yeah, just a little extra one for Zeus. Zeus, do you like a little extra like? Like a little extra like? Hey, no kissing. We don't do that in this house. We can cuddle, but no kissing, okay? I don't judge you guys if you let your dogs kiss you, but you know, not in this house, okay? We don't play like that. Okay. All right, he's restless now. He wants to go. All right, go get out of here. Just no barking at the CNC machine. Okay? He is shedding his winter coat now, so that's going to be a fun time. We got to brush him a lot and give him many baths so he can get rid of his little summer coat, get ready for the winter coat. So as you can see today, or most of my live streams, I use GSender to run the code, but you can use LightBurn. You can use LightBurn to run your code. I just know that it's an easier job for me to use GSender because I just have more control over starting my job. But there are certain features, amazing features in LightBurn that you can only use in LightBurn if you're running it in LightBurn. So even if you go into certain streams I run my code through LightBurn because I want to use a specific feature. So it's totally up to you. You don't have to use GSender at all. You can keep it all in LightBurn. You just lose a little bit of the user interface. You know, like in my dream world, we would be able to design LightBurn's user interface like based off GSender. And then LightBurn would be the perfect software, it would be the perfect design software for laser, and it would also be the perfect machine interface software for laser because I think what we do best, or what Chris and his team does best with GSender, is make things easy. Of course, they're working hard on the back end to make features and make things work amazingly smooth, but there's obviously forever going to be issues. That's just the nature of the game of software. I have issues with LightBurn as well, but what we do the best is we make things very user-friendly, very easy to use. And I appreciate that because sometimes that's what you need to kind of get started and to do a job is that you need a little bit less friction with the user experience. So in a perfect world, we take our user interface and we match that with LightBurn, and that would be the perfect laser software top to bottom. Yeah, guys, you gotta make sure once you're done designing, you gotta close it or disconnect via LightBurn so that you can connect to GSender because it'll only connect to one software at a time. So even if you have another software, it doesn't have to be LightBurn or GSender. If you have another software that can connect to the controller and it is connected, you won't be able to connect to any other software. So even for us, like when we're doing firmware stuff with the Arduino, we have like Arduino IDE and it's connected to the Arduino of the longboard, then we won't be able to connect to it via GSender or LightBurn. So it works all the same way. So make sure that you don't have two softwares up that can connect to LightBurn when you're trying to connect. After it's connected to one, you can have both softwares up. Don, I can understand. The first time it happened to me, I had no clue why it was happening. I didn't even understand what was happening, and it was very frustrating. But I just checked out the forums, and everyone said, make sure you don't have another software or machine interface that can connect to your controller, because if it does connect, whatever software it connects to first, that's the software it's connected to. And then if you try to connect to your other software without knowing that, you're just going to be frustrated about why isn't it showing up, why isn't it connecting. So I completely understand. Don't worry. So yeah, we are we're a little bit past halfway done. So we have about 25 minutes left. I don't think it's going to take that long because I think it thinks that the last set of lines in the code are also engraving, but it's actually cutting. So it actually might take a little bit longer because if it's going off the speed of these lines, this is actually moving a lot faster than the cut lines will go. But you know, you never know. It's just an estimate. Yeah, somebody always knows more than you in a forum somewhere on the internet. Okay. Don, as of right now, we're kind of only focused on being the machine interface, right? Because we do want to keep the agnostic vibe of CNC Labs and G-Sender, because the moment we design a design software, we almost have to like angle people towards it. And because we're so open source and we want everybody to have a choice and we never want to feel like people are being pushed towards one software or another, the machine interface is kind of like agnostic, you know what I mean? Like you can take code from any software, LightBurn, LaserWeb, Vectric, Carveco, Easel, and you can just export it and run it in GSender. So because it does kind of align to our goals of being open source, but if Chris has a plan and a dream to make it happen, then I'm sure he will explore that and he'll announce that to you guys. But if he doesn't, then I completely understand, and we don't mind staying like software agnostic in terms of the design, but everything can lead to GSender if you want to send it to the machine. So that's kind of the philosophy there. So if he wants to, I can imagine him maybe one day wanting to, but if he doesn't, I also completely understand, because it does machine interface is kind of like the hub point to your machine, and just like how we're open source, it kind of encourages everybody to choose their own software and not feel pressured to use our software if we ever came out with one. You could use whatever software you want. It can all end up in the same space, or you can use a different machine interface. We don't push anything on you, which is why also he made this free and open source so other people can kind of build upon it in the industry. Oh yeah, Arduino. One day, BCNU in 2 weeks. What does BCNU mean? Am I being trolled? Don't troll me, guys. Let me do a quick Google. BCNU. I have no clue what that is. Can I get an explanation? What does be seeing you? Oh, you coming down to the shop? Bill, you gonna visit us at the shop? You coming by? Are you gonna be picking up something, a part or something, or just coming by to say hi? Either way, dope. Come by, say hi. You'll see me. Uh, we're currently in the middle of moving our shop, so it's a bit of a weird time where half of the racks are gone and half of our stuff is gone. Oh, okay, on the live stream. Sorry, I thought you were gonna come by the office. Yes, I will be seeing you at the next live stream. But also, guys, we're located in Waterloo, Ontario, so you can come by. And Jack in the Shop, yes, we rented out a much bigger space. It's like 15,000 square feet or something. It's much bigger. Our prototyping room will be much bigger, hopefully less messy, more organized. Guys, any of you guys that got to go, I will catch you on the next live stream. Don't worry. But I think I'm going to be chilling. I usually end things around this time, but I think I'll just be chilling. The estimator says about 20 minutes to finish the job. I'm really excited to see this job, so I don't mind hanging out for another 20 minutes. But if you have to go, no problem. Dominic asks, any alt mill tidbits you feel like leaking? Okay, okay. let me go. Let me go full screen for this. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble saying this, okay? Because this is not my product to talk about, but I'm also very excited, and you guys are asking me, so I do know a little 1-2 about certain things. Maybe I want to share, maybe I don't want to share, but I think I'm just going to share it. Okay, we are making an alt mill. Andy announced that we're working on a CO2, and the CO2 is going to take a lot longer because we have it's like much more complex versus what we already do, which is the long mill. We're just making it a little bit better and a little bit bigger, right? It's much more in line with what we do, so it's a little bit easier of a product to design. And plus, Andy has always wanted to make this, and he had designs done and thought of, and was ready to go like 2 years ago, right? But we just got so busy with everything that we're dealing with the long mill, and only now that we're kind of making that push for new product lines, new products, exploring all this stuff, which is awesome. So, alt mill, I believe there will be an alt mill, probably available for sale sooner than you think. The alt mill was an idea of making a better version of the long mill and making it available at 48 by 48. So say goodbye to V wheels, ball screw, much more powerful motors. Linear rails, ball screws, better, more powerful motors with the super longboard, with the with the added benefits of the super longboard, in a 48 by 48 size, or maybe even one day a 8 foot by 4 foot size. Right now it's the 48 by 48 that's being worked on, and let's just say that we place some order for some parts. This is Andy's like little baby, just like the CO2 laser is my baby, and of course the long mill is Chris and Andy's baby, but the alt mill is like Andy's baby, okay? Yeah, exactly. So this is like the next level up. So we get asked all the times, what's the most annoying part of your long mill? And for the serious users, it's like they hate the V wheels and they want bigger, right? So that is what the alt mill seeks to solve. And Daniel has been working on designs. There was already designs previously, so this is not like something that came out of brand new and we had to start from scratch. They kind of Andy already had an idea of what he wanted to make, and I feel like we had a prototype done like a very long time ago. So this is just continuing on that, designing new stuff. Andy, Daniel, if you're mad that I announced this, I'm very sorry. I apologize. I'll never pre-announce any news of yours again. But yeah, we have a design in the works, and I believe we're going to be doing a small batch of 50 very soon, sooner probably than you think, probably early next year. And for any of you guys who have always needed or wanted a 4x4 for any of your project needs, maybe your business needs, yeah. Like the development of the alt mill has always been, guys, we stay pretty open. It's just like I just don't know. Oh, sorry. 4 a.m. comes early, all heading out. Thank you so much. Oh, Dana, thank you so much. We appreciate you. You have a good night. Take care. We'll catch you on the next live stream. Dana, you're the best. Oh, no worries. Alan, give me 1 second. I'll circle back. But yeah, we always release development updates. So if you go back far enough, you'll see like all the alt mill designs, all the alt mill ideas, probably pictures of our old prototype. But now it's just like more solidified, like, hey, we are actually going to be selling this thing. So that's the kind of the news. And Andy already talked about it in our production update that we're working on it. But I think they're a little bit closer than people might think. Because this was a design that they've already previously worked on. It's a design that Andy wanted to bring to market. And it's a design that some of you guys just really, really want. I always get random questions, whether it's trade shows or tickets, of asking for a 4x4 machine. And yeah, so we're kind of just giving people what they want in that regard. 4x4 machine, ball screws, linear rails, more powerful motors, all coupled with the benefits of the super longboard. Yeah. That's the alt mill. It's going to be released next year. I believe we're going to do a small batch just to see gauge customer interest. So anybody who wants one will probably will probably definitely go for the small batch, our first batch. And then if it's something that we sell out really quickly, then we can put more resources behind it and release more. Maybe you can put it on the Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji if you want to sell your Mark II and buy in. Dominic, that's great to hear. Definitely check out. You're kind of already in our blog post, so always just check out the blog post, production updates. You know us; we're very open about our development. Like even for the CO2, the moment we have a CO2 prototype, like I'll show it to you guys. I'll like bring it home. I'll run it on stream. I have no problem with that. We're very open about our production. We'll be making videos about CO2 laser production. So as things move forward, we'll be making videos. with that as well. So expect videos and updates and blog posts about the alt mill as well. Dope, dope, dope. Let's check out our project here. How we're doing. We're definitely past. We're about 70%. About 15 minutes left in the code. Jack is just such a nice guy, a very courteous guy, a generous man, if I might say, that he would be willing to beta test. Need a new plasma for the 48 by 30. Guys, we always do beta testing, so keep your eyes out. Keep your eyes open on our social medias, on our blog posts, and send in emails. It's going to be up to Andy and Daniel. Daniel's kind of the product lead, but this is also kind of Andy's baby, and he's directly working on it. So it's going to be that decision is going to be made between them. So reach out. If you reach out, we can like direct the email to like Andy and Daniel, and whenever they're looking to do beta testing, then obviously we always do beta testing with every project. We have 4 super longboards out with beta testers right now being tested. As soon as we have a beta testable CO2 laser, we'll definitely. Jack, I feel like by proxy I have to put you on our CO2 laser beta testing list, because you have so much experience with all these different CNC machines, plus fiber laser, plus CO2 laser. So I feel like you're kind of already de facto on my CO2 laser beta testing list. But if you send in an email asking about the alt-mill beta, I'm sure once they get to the beta, they might pick you. They might select you, but no promises. It's not my product. I don't make decisions on products that aren't mine. It's all about who's passionate about the product should lead the product, right? And that should drive it all the way through. I was passionate about lasers, so I led the laser project. I'm passionate about CO2 lasers, so I'm leading the CO2 laser project. So Don says, I've been a woodworker for 25 years and always wanted a CNC machine. When the Kickstarter campaign started, I jumped on it. But for me, jumping to a bigger, better, faster, stronger doesn't make sense, which is totally fine. Need to stay in the hobbyist realm. That's totally fine. We're not making this machine for everybody. We know it's not for everybody. We just know that our customer base has grown so large that it kind of encompasses so much. There are people that will never buy or never need the 4th axis, but there was enough people who wanted it and asking for it and buying other 4th axes that we sold it. There's some people that will never buy the LaserBeam, but there's enough people who wanted it, who asked for it, who was buying other lasers, that we made it. There are people that will never need a CO2 laser 10 times faster, 10 times thing, a 36 by 24 CO2 laser, a 48 by 24 CO2 laser. There are some of our customers that will never need that, and that's totally fine. We just want to serve the customers who do, while also continuing to support the development, right? Because all of this costs money. It costs a lot of money to run this. It costs a lot of money to make these kind of developmental jumps, right? To be the best hobbyist machine in the market, to have the best value for the best hobby machine in the market. Costs a lot of money, costs lots of employees, lots of operational costs. And we just want to make sure we're staying ahead of the curve, not by raising prices and gouging people, but by picking new industries in which we can come in with the value, right? So when the longbow was first released, it was just a great value for the size, for the rigidity, for the tech that it was developed for and on, and it was a great value for the machine, and that's what sold people. They're like, what's the catch, right? There has to be a catch, right? And that's what we aim to do. So rather than doing what most tech companies do, which is start gouging customers on stuff, we made a bunch of add-ons. We did the add-on sweep for the long mill. We did what we could, but now we are exploring different avenues and looking to serve different customers. So for our hobbyists who don't need bigger sizes, a 48 by 48, the alt mill price might not be for them. For them, it's not value, right? But for somebody who's buying a more expensive 48 by 48, that's not as rigid or not as fast or not as good as what our 48 by 48 is going to be, coming in at a lower price with high quality is exactly what they're going to be saying. They're going to be saying, what's the catch for a 48 by 48 that does this, that's powered by the super longboard, it has this type of rigidity and has this size, right? They're going to be saying, what's the catch? And that's what we aim to do. So rather than trying to, gouge prices with our long mill or do any funny marketing tactics with our long mill, we rather go serve, take a little bit of resources and go serve a different side of the market where we can also have that same impact that we had with the long mill. Like, what's the catch? What is the catch, right? So that's how I think of it. Same thing with the CO2. I do get asked about making large projects and I just turn them away. Yeah, which is fine, but somebody is out there making the larger products and we're thinking of them and what machine do they have and can we be more valuable than the machine that they have, so that they're looking at our alt mill and being like, what's the catch? 48 by 48 for this price, this type of rigidity, this type of power, like what's the catch? So that's what we're aiming to do with that. Yeah, and also don't forget, you can always tile. We're never, guys. If you've been around for a while, you know us. We never try to force new products on you. We never try to force new products down your throat. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. If we don't sell that many, then we don't make it a priority in our company. We just serve the people that it serves, and we keep it pushing, right? So what bed size area might the new CO2 laser have? Right now, Steven, we are looking at 36 by 24 and 48 by 24, right? We want to be a large form factor CO2 for a reasonable price, because right now, if you look at 36 by 24 and 48 by 24, the prices out there are outrageous, or you have to go overseas and you have to deal with the shipping, and then you have no support because they're overseas and they don't really care, and what if something breaks over the shipping? It's just a whole mess, right? So, and we wanted to make a clean form factor that's reasonably priced, that has the size, right? A question regarding the mount for the 7 watt that I received. Your online mount shows the having 4 holes, whereas yes, no problem. Marty, your mount is the more updated one, because when we first did this, we needed to make the holes. I added the extra holes just for people who mounted it on the front, but then we realized that we could just get rid of that whole thing and make it sleeker so that you never have to interact with the front mount hole. So if you have a side mount, then the extra 2 wider holes don't really matter. It was just to make space for the 2 mount holes on the front of your router mount if you had a front mounting router mount, essentially. So I'd make those holes, and then like a couple of months later I realized, like, oh, I could just make this slimmer and get rid of the need for the holes in general. Yeah, I'm curious, Jack, how much did your CO2 laser cost? Exactly, Sandra. So that's what we're looking to do with the alt mill, and that's what we're looking to do with the CO2. We know that we have a great production team. We have a great assembly, quality assurance, supply chain sourcing skills, design engineers. We know that we have a great support team. We know that we always try to solve the problem. We never leave you hanging. We know that is our core, that is our core benefit to the industry. That's why people love us. That's why people support us, right? So yeah, paid 1,700, no chiller. So yeah, like, is it a branded one or is it kind of one from overseas? Yeah, okay, so yeah. So you either go overseas, like our CO2 laser that we use for in-house production, we had to buy overseas, and we had to find a supplier that sold it here, even though they sourced it from overseas, and it was very low quality, but it was like $3,000. It's like 35 by 20 something, and we use it, but it's not the best machine, and we definitely overpaid for the actual requirements. Yeah. Exactly. So we know that, obviously, guys, when you look at the long mill, like, you could buy a machine at a cheaper price if you go overseas and have no support and just order it and just, fingers crossed that nothing goes wrong, or that you'll be able to fix it or find replacement parts. But obviously, because we're North American, specifically Canadian made, Canadian assembled, Canadian supported, we essentially act as like your support system, right? We design these things, we build them, we ship them, you use them, and we support you while you're using them for parts and help and tutorials and all that fun stuff. And that's the benefit, right? So if you look at any of the brands that are here in North America or Europe, Aeon Lasers, Glowforge, the P2 that just released from X Tools, their pricing is out of this world for CO2 laser. And we think that we can come in at a lower price and offer better support. And that is where the value is, right? That's how we make a machine like this accessible. Because our goal as CNC Labs is to make this technology accessible. And for us, that means reasonably priced. That means adding a lot of value to the price. That means being competitive with our support and being supportive, right? Like we just will never leave you hanging. Yeah, so Marty says, Don, I would suggest that a 48-inch capacity unit is attractive than a 30-inch capable unit. For furniture makers, I get around that with some pieces that will fit on the spoil board by laying them out diagonally. Yeah, that makes sense. I tend to fix things myself and not lean on support. I know it's not for everybody. Yeah, exactly. So, Jack, you might not even be our customer, our target market for the CO2 laser because you're so involved in your machine. But, just like, somebody could have taken our designs. We're open source. Somebody could have looked at our on-shape designs in our resources, and you could have made your own long mill, right? You could have bought our controller if you're that type of guy. But, a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, I'm just... we trust the machine, we trust the company, we trust the support, and you're coming in at a reasonable price, and that's what we try to do for like everything that we make. Sandra Lewis, I'm only an hour away from the shop, and I always go pick up my orders. I love being able to see how you guys set up your machines, etc. Yeah, guys, always come down. If you are in the area, Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, if you're in the area, you need to pick up a part, or you just call in to make sure somebody's there, because you don't want to come on lunch and like nobody's there to give you a tour and actually explain things to you. Just give us a call, swing by, or if you have to pick up parts, just come by. At least our shipping team will be there, so you'll get your parts and you'll get to take a look around. Yeah, unbolt your laser because the dust and everything that you create with your router, you don't want that on your laser. You don't really want to be using that on your laser. Yeah, you don't want that to be in any electronic. You don't want that type of dust and particulate to be all around. So definitely remove it. It only takes 2 seconds. It's just 2 M512 bolts. It literally, you can get it off in like 5 seconds. Just take it off. So we are just about done the engraving, and then it's going to be doing some cutting. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, guys, we made like the cutout of the for the laser out of this like very stiff like foam, so that you like hopefully you guys kept it because it's a great little like storage unit for your driver. Well, you probably want to keep your driver mounted, but at least for the laser, it's a great little storage unit for the laser to keep it safe. Make sure put it in your cabinet. So that's great. I'm glad that Steven that you're using it like that. Oh, Don, that's a great use case, right? So you just keep it on the 12 by laser. If you need to do a laser job, you usually use a 12 by 30, and then you usually, if you need to do a router job, then you use the 30 by 30. And if you ever need to be using both at the same time for a router job, then it only takes 2 seconds. But as long as like you have with having 2 machines, you have a pretty good setup that you don't really need to move it. But yeah, for anybody who only has 1 machine or does primarily router work and then every once in a while use the laser, definitely remove it. It's not worth it if it gets clogged. The diode is the most expensive part of the laser, so it is a little bit more, it's like the most expensive part to replace. So you don't want it to like degrade faster than it has to, because it is like I think it's like $200 to replace on our end. And that's like, we're not like gouging you for money on the replacement side. Trust me. Hey buddy. Guys, if you see this guy, look at him. He's all perched. He's ready to play, okay? We are almost done here, okay? Sorry, guys. Marty with the zinger. Okay, we are now cutting. Oh wow, I didn't think this happened, but the engraving job was so long that the acrylic kind of bowed on the edges, which is interesting because I've never seen that happen before. But also, this was like a 50-minute long engraving on 1/8 inch acrylic, so we might even be out of focus. Yeah, we might be out of focus. Zeus is very curious about the sounds that are happening right now. with the laser. It's okay, buddy. He's intently staring at the laser because it's making these sounds. Honestly, it's not generating that much smoke, but that was the engraving part. So now we're doing the cutting part. So I imagine there was no smell with the engraving part. And again, if you guys don't know my setup, I have an enclosure here. It has a 4-inch inline fan, and it's venting to a pre-filter and then to a carbon filter, and that's it. It's not even venting outside after the carbon filter, so if there is a smell, I'll be able to smell it. When we were doing long jobs with the tile, I was able to smell it, and with the wood, eventually I was able to smell it. But with the 40, 50-minute long engraving that we just did on the acrylic, I can't smell it right now. But now we're running at very low speeds, very high power with the laser on the acrylic. So I imagine that after like 10 minutes, I imagine after like 10 minutes, we might need to open up a window or open up the sliding door. But I will keep you updated if I can smell it. Yeah, it's actually not that bad. So I'll keep you guys updated if I can smell it. We just completed one pass and I can't smell it right now. So that's good. And the acrylic has a very strong smell, so the moment I can smell it, like I'm gonna really smell it. Yeah, Doug, he probably does want to go for a walk. He wants to go play. No, I shouldn't have said that word. I shouldn't have, he looked at me as soon as I said that word, and he was like, wait, what? But yes, he definitely wants to play, and yeah. But he's also very interested in this. It's making a very like whining sound, but he's definitely interested in it. Sure thing. Let me pull it up right now. Hey Zeus, why are you growling at the CNC machine? Let me pull up a little shopping list for you guys. Oh, yeah, he does not like the sound at all. Zeus, relax, it's fine. I can pull up a little shopping list for the inline filter and everything. Or the inline fan and then the filters. Maybe I'll do that next. Why don't I do that next stream? Because I need kind of full attention to pull up the links and stuff. Okay, so Steven wants to see it and Marty wants to see it. So I will make a resource page, or I will just build a page. I'll probably add it to the resources, and I will add exactly what I use to filter my laser. If I would do it again, I would get an open carbon filter so that I could run the smoke through the pre-filter, through the carbon filter, and then outside, because it might as well go outside if it's being filtered, because there's no point. No matter how good it's being filtered, I'd rather have it run outside. But sometimes, oh, Alan, I'm sorry about that. That's always funny. It's like when your dog sees another dog on TV, and it's like, whoa, who's that? But yeah, but yeah, but you know, it might actually come in handy in the winter, right? When I don't want to open up the window and have like all my warm air exhausted, I'm just running a quick job, then I might actually use this one. Yeah, I'll take some pictures. I'll show you guys how it's a little bit complicated. Not complicated. It's just like convoluted because I have a lot of stuff because it is my home and it's like a apartment or a condo, so it's only one floor, so I don't have too much space. But I was able to make it work with this like big metal rack, like this like 6 foot long metal rack. So I was able to make it work. No, I don't. Well, we will be doing more shows. We just don't know where. Hey, Zeus, relax. It's just a CNC machine. Hey, hold up, Zeus. I don't want to roll on his feet because he's right under me. Come on, big guy. All right. Yeah, honestly, that would do. I think Don's suggestion is pretty good. Again, I only have a 4-inch inline fan to a pre-filter and then to a carbon filter. And even right now, I can't smell the. I can't smell it. So for this last pass, like I usually do, like I did on my last one, I'm going to lower the speed just to make sure that we cut all the way through. So I'm just like cutting the speed in half because I want to just make sure I don't have to run this job again or I run the things again. Run the cutting again, so I'm just lowering the speed, probably around 1 millimeter per second. Yeah, so like so for the CO2, we'll be going with like a 3-stage HEPA filter like cabinet, right? So all the filters will be in one cabinet, and it'll probably end up going with like a 6 to 8-inch inline fan to exhaust out of the CO2 into the little cabinet, and then the cabinet can be exhausted outside. Or it could be exhausted inside if you're in a well-ventilated area, but it'll be best to exhaust that outside. So I believe we have one pass after this. So again, I use the override feature to, oh, we have 2 passes after this. So I use the override feature down here to lower the speed on the fly, just because the material bowed up, we're a little bit out of focus. So I wasn't sure if we we're gonna cut all the way through. And that's just because it's a 1/8 acrylic and it was a long job, so the heat got to it. So that's kind of what I was talking about with the leather, but with leather it would happen a lot faster and it's a lot more extreme. So it did kind of bow up and oh, okay, perfect. It cut all the way through. I can see that it cut all the way through. So guys, if you're ever worried that you're not cutting all the way through, lowering the power is always a good way, right? Because power and speed are inversely related. So as you lower the power, the material is absorbing more of the power. Or as you lower the speed, the material is absorbing more power, right? Because it's spending more time on the material. So I can stop it after this pass because I can visually see that my acrylic is cut out. So I don't even need the last pass. Let me show this. So yeah, you can kind of see that like visually, I can see that it cut out. And then I can show you guys the project. Yeah, vending outside is always the best option. There's no reason to keep that indoors if you can get it outside. All right, we are just about done. Just gonna finish this pass. It has one more pass. I think this is pass number 5, but it didn't need it. It was just 4 passes. On the 4th pass, I lowered the speed, and I could visually see that it cut all the way out. Okay. Sorry, Zeus. You got to get going while I take this little coaster out. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. I'm gonna go back to 0. And then I'm gonna go pop that thing out. All right, go, come on, go. Actually, I'm going to let it sit for just a couple minutes or just a minute or two, just so any smoke that's in there right now, I don't open it up and it comes wafting into my apartment. I'm going to let the exhaust system do its thing for a couple minutes just to make sure that it's all nice and clean. But as soon as that happens, I'm going to pop it out. I'm going to show you guys the results. And then I am going to go get going. This is LaserBeam Live, episode number 32. And I'm your host, Ikenna. But, it's not that time. We're not doing the outro yet. The outro's not yet, okay? I'm just giving you guys some notice that we are going to be ending the stream very soon, a couple minutes. So let's, I think we should be good. Zeus, can you give me some room here? Should be good. Let's pop this thing up. There we go. Yeah, and the smell wasn't bad at all. Ooh, I really like this thing. Guys, look at that. I'm gonna zoom in or I'm gonna full screen so you guys can see that. There we go. So the guy and his dog, this is what you guys voted on. I have a manual focus, so I'll have to manually focus on the coaster. There we go. So there we go. Today's stream was me and my dog, and we ended up engraving a man and his dog on the coaster, and then we cut it out of the 1/8 green acrylic. And then I can focus this back onto me. There we go. Just the focus a little bit. There we go. So, yeah, it was a success. Victory. Easy peasy. That's why I tell people 1/8 material is a fun time. 1/4 inch, you can do it, but it's just not fun. I'd rather use the router if I'm cutting 1/4 inch material, if I'm being honest. Last stream I showed you that you could, but it wasn't that fun. Like, it was a lot of passes. It was a lot of time. Don asked if I've made any videos for white tile. No, I haven't. No, I haven't, but if I can find a non-gloss tile, because the gloss, I believe, I do have a white tile and I tried it, but I think the gloss reflects too much light. But it did work on the matte file. Zeus, can you stop digging through stuff? Yeah, so you can add paint to everything, and that might make things easier, but maybe we'll do that. We're still waiting on to get some samples of some stone, so maybe we can do some stone and maybe some tile later, but who knows? You'll have to wait for the next announcement to find out what we do next. So, guys, you know the deal. My name is Ikenna for CNC Labs, and you know the drill. Hey, Zeus. There we go. Hey, Zeus. Whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Thank you so much. Before you go, like the stream, share the stream if you have friends who are interested in lasers and CNCs and technology like this. And I hope you all have a great night. I will see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for joining me. Jim, Don, Marty, Jack, Doug, Sandra. Thank you so much, Alan, Jim, Steven. Dana already left, but we appreciate Dana as well. Go check out his YouTube channel. He's great. He does great tutorials for the long mill and all sorts of projects. If you joined us today, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night.